let's turn our attention to Copa America. The draw happened. We know this is the tournament. First crack at qualifying for it. The Canadian men did not get the job done in that home and away against Jamaica. So on March 23rd, they play in a win in you're in game against Trinidad and Tobago. Okay, Ginger, I know we're very excited about this. And she's like, wait a second, you got to tell them, don't bury the lead. And the lead is the Copa America draw was held last night. If Canada beats Trinidad and Tobago, they'll be in a group with Chile, Peru, and Argentina. All right. So here we go. If Canada, and I don't want to get ahead of myself because quite frankly, I do not think it's going to be a walk in the park against Trinidad and Tobago. This is a team who on 2 separate occasions has beaten the American men, last time most recently in Nations League. But let me ask you this, Wheels. If Canada does win and they go on, what do you make of that group?
It's a dream draw. It really is. It provides very good competition to build towards. This is what the team has been asking for. A marquee opening game against Argentina, the world champions, Lionel Messi and company, to open up the tournament. That's a big carrot being dangled. My concern is more about, is Canada going to be ready? This just puts that much more urgency, getting the right manager in place, getting the right setup in place, the general secretary coming through the door. Like, you're going to be going into that tournament this summer. There's going to be some expectation, maybe not to beat a team like Argentina, but if you're hosting a World Cup, going out and being able to compete, and right now, based on that last performance, there's plenty of work to do. So for me, this draw, very exciting. I love it. This is exactly the type of draw that I wanted to see, but it creates more urgency for Canada to right some of the wrongs and solve some of these issues that have been plaguing them.
Is it too early to say that losing to Jamaica may not have been the worst thing in the world? They've ended up in Group B, which when I was watching the draw, I was just like, please not Group B, because it was Mexico, and then it was a team like Ecuador, who I think are very good. It was like the worst scenario of not getting one of the real South American big hitters, but also being in a group that would be very difficult to get out of.
The draw might have not played out that way, Ollie.
Well, I'm just saying.
Come on.
It's not how it works. A little wake-up call.
Not how it works.
A little wake-up call, end up in Group A. You never know. I think Canada
don't you think it was kind of a downer just not having Canada be pulled out instead? Winner.
Of course it was.
It's just such a bummer, man. I don't know.
To be clear, this is tongue in cheek because Canada, I think, would have been in a different pot anyway. So it would have been irrelevant.
Quack, quack.
Just floating the idea.
Quack.
Why quack quack?
Doesn't matter. Does it make sense? It does not. Let's go.
Not much about this has made sense so far, but yeah, it's a great group. Opening the tournament on my birthday, no less. Great against
always
Argentina.
making it about yourself.
Are you finally 30, by the way?
I'm already 30.
Oh, so that's right. 30 was last year.
No, I'm 30. I'm 31 if we're counting. But it's a great group, and to plow through this, Peru and Chile, maybe not Chile in particular, have obviously been really strong in the past. Maybe not what they were right now. Some of the star players have kind of aged out there. They're still going to be very, very difficult teams to beat. They just have way more depth in Canada as a consequence of having much more established domestic leagues. But in terms of star power, you can look at those rosters and think maybe there's not a Davies, an Eustáquio, a David, those type of players. So Canada can be competitive in those games. So I think it's the perfect balance between getting that big name marquee opponent like Argentina, but then also having, relative to this tournament, because it's always going to be hard in this tournament, as good of a chance as you probably could have hoped for in terms of being competitive to get out of the group.
Yeah, I mean, this is also motivation to the players. I mean, we're going to get to see Davies versus Messi again. Guarantee that. We know what that looked like in the Champions League, but it's a big test for the players. I think that they'll be up for it. They were an exceptionally difficult World Cup group. Let's not forget about that. Belgium, and Croatia and Morocco. And there was a ton of resources put into making sure that Canada could be prepared for those games. We'll see what happens here. The good news for Canada soccer, they made a lot of money off the farewell tour from Christine Sinclair. They do and will have some money to spend. I think that the number one priority is getting that manager right. In Argentina, I mean, Argentina or Brazil, that was just my number one. You had to play one of those teams in this tournament. So now they get Argentina, they move on. Who knows? We'll see what the draw is in store, but I'm really excited about this.
But March 23rd needs to happen first. March 23rd, they have to play Trinidad and Tobago, and they have to beat them.
Even before that, there's a lot that needs to happen, and like
100%.
We've just gone through a year that like was not good by any measure, right? Like we did not compete in the way that we wanted to see this team compete on multiple different fronts. The off-field stuff continued. There was so much noise, so much distraction around the team. I hope these players, for their own sake as much as all of ours, go into this year thinking, let's really seize this moment and make the most of it, because there's a lot in front of them if they're up for it.
So do you buy your ticket to Atlanta now? Do you buy it right, or do you wait until
you still get to see Messi either way? So
you'll see some good footy.